There you go. George Siegel was 87 years old. I didn't know the guy was that old. He didn't look that old last time I seen him, but he was 87. So my condolences to the friends and family of George Siegel. Rest in peace. We're going to go to a short break. We'll be right back with other news besides political bullshit. Stay tuned. Don't go away.
And now, without further ado, the man we've all been waiting for, TJMD. Back to the show.
Welcome back. Okay, we're not quite done with politics yet. We got some other stuff that's been in the news as of late in politics. So we're going to get right to some of this other stuff that piqued my interest. It looks like New York State is legalizing marijuana, which I'm surprised that is just now happening. I would have figured that has already happened, but I was wrong because they're just now doing it. And so if you live in New York, hey, you can smoke weed. I didn't get all the details of it. And so I don't know if it's medicinal or just recreational. There's a lot of tricks to this recreational weed smoking. Sometimes you're allowed to own the weed. You're not allowed to buy it. You're allowed to smoke it, but you're not allowed to hold it. Doesn't make any sense, but those are the laws. So I'm not quite sure the details about weed smoking in New York, but I know now you can smoke weed in New York State. And it appears that Governor Cuomo, even though he has gotten more accusations of sexual harassment from women who have worked for him, he said he's not going to resign. There was a couple of politicians in Washington who, I can't remember who it was. I think it was like the senator from New York or something, or congressman from New York, said that Governor Cuomo should step down, and he said no. No, I'm not going to step down. I don't blame him, actually. I wouldn't step down either. Of course, I would not be in this situation if I was a politician. I wouldn't be in this situation, period, probably. No women that I work with are going to say I've harassed them, because I have not. They'd be lying if they did say that. So, yeah, I'm not likely to be in this situation, but you never know. I mean, you're a rich and famous guy. Some people might lie. I'm not saying the women are lying about him. I'm just saying it could happen. But Governor Cuomo seems to have weathered the storm. There was a lot of pressure on him to step down, and he's decided, no, I'm just not going to do it. I wouldn't step down if I was him either. I mean, if he doesn't feel like he's harassed anybody, like I said before, the guy just has no game. You don't need to harass women when you're rich and famous. You really don't. You don't need to harass women when you're rich and not famous. Like I said, my experience with women, and not all of them, not even half of them, but it doesn't take all or half. It only takes a small handful to be willing to, do whatever you want them to do if you're going to spend money on them. That's how some people are. It's just women have more of an opportunity to do that than guys. I'm sure there are some good-looking guys who, if they get somebody to spend money on them, they'll do what they want them to do. But it's just more prevalent with females, because women, have guys chasing them all the time, so. And like I said, I've met women in their 20s who was willing to do, whatever, a guy wanted them to do. If he's going to spend money on them, he's going to chip them off a little something every now and then, talking about some cash, set them up with a bank account with their own debit card where they can just spend money stupidly, let them drive a nice car. Oh, man, to them, that's nothing. To some people, like I said, not all women, not even half women. Probably not even a third of women. But enough that you don't need to harass anybody. If you're a rich and famous guy and you're the governor of New York, you don't need to harass anybody. You need to learn how to talk to women. You suck, boy, at talking to women. If you're a rich and famous guy and you got women saying you're harassing them, that means you're just being weird. You're just being too weird and awkward. You're just freaking the chicks out, dude. You need to stop. Just take a step back and just relax. Just chill out. Stop saying dumb shit to these girls. So, Governor Cuomo looks like he has weathered the storm so far. He's decided not to step down. And like I said, I wouldn't step down either unless if I was in his position, unless I had been caught doing something just totally screwed up. You just totally done something illegal, then yeah, I wouldn't step down because of that. And he's not stepping down. So New York is legalizing marijuana, and they still have a governor, Governor Cuomo. Let's talk about gun control, because who is it? No, that was my phone. It sounded like a doorbell. Let's talk about gun control a little bit, because we've had these mass shootings here, 2 of them as of late, and the second one in Boulder, Colorado, at a grocery store, where a guy shot 10 people. 10 people died because of some ignorant jackass who was mentally ill. And that in itself should let everyone know that mentally ill people should not be able to legally buy a gun. If you're mentally ill, you should not be able to buy a weapon, an automatic weapon, a rifle. You shouldn't be able to buy all the accessories that you can buy, a bump stock to make that rifle shoot easier and quicker. You can disperse more rounds to kill more people who don't know you've never done anything to you and have nothing to do with the fact that you're so frustrated in life. Okay? I don't know how they tie all this stuff to these guys not being able to get laid. If that's what they say in the interview, I couldn't get laid, so I shot up the place. I don't think that's what they say, word for word. But a lot of times you see in the media, well, these guys can't get laid. And I'm like, what? Yeah, maybe that's what it boils down to. I'm not sure, but this guy killed, and one of the people he killed was an officer, a police officer. And what's funny is you never hear these right wingers, whether it's a politician or just a right wing citizen who is supporting everything right. You never hear them say anything about when an officer gets killed by a nut job with a gun. You'll have a nut job, a crazy dick face, committing a mass shooting, and this guy killed an officer. Yeah, I can't remember the officer's name right now. Let me ask Google real quick. What was the officer's name in the shooting in Boulder, Colorado? He did not. Google did not answer. What was the officer's name in the mass shooting in Boulder? Sometimes if I rephrase it, it'll answer. Let me try it one more time and see what happens. Let me see what I can say to make it to get this thing to tell me. Okay, let me see. What was the police officer who was shot in the most recent mass shooting in Boulder, Colorado? No, it's not telling me. Let me see. Boulder police officer was the last person killed in grocery massacre. So this guy was the last person killed, this officer. And the reason I bring him up is because Blue Lives Matter. Remember that term, Blue Lives Matter? That is what people say when Black Lives Matter was protesting. Blue Lives Matter. That's what right-wingers who just hate black people want to say when you say Black Lives Matter because of the cops shooting an unarmed black man. And by the way, I mentioned this last week when I talked about this mass shooting. They managed to take this guy in who just killed 10 people without harm. They didn't hurt him, didn't shoot him dead. He didn't shoot himself. I think he got shot in the leg and he was apprehended. No problem at all. I wonder why he was able to be apprehended with no trouble. But anyway, I digress. I'm looking at this story. But what I was saying is these people who are pro-gun, which, you know, I'm pro-gun myself. You know what I'm saying? People who are legal gun owners, not mentally they don't have a history of mental illness, they should be able to own a gun. No one's saying they shouldn't. But we do need to make laws that makes it harder, if not impossible, for a person with a history of mental illness to just go out and buy an AR-15 or any type of gun. They shouldn't even be able to buy a musket, goddammit, let alone a weapon that can just spray bullets at people or just pump one round after another with just squeezing the trigger over and over again. I mean, it's too easy for them to walk in any crowded place and shoot people for whatever reasons. You know what I'm saying? They could be having a bad day, or you don't know what could be going through the head of someone who's has a history of mental illness. Basically, if they have a history